Subscribe to our channel by clicking the subscribe button. Click the bell button and enjoy the latest uploads from our channel.
Hey there, in this class we're going to cover window location and window open. To sum things up real quick, window location will change the location of your current window. So change the URL, and this is good for redirecting or just directing traffic. And window open will open a new window. With the window location variable, we can change the location of the current page. We can direct or redirect traffic to anywhere we like. Now we just have to be careful that we don't redirect the page back to itself or to a page that brings us back to the page that you just created. The reason for that is because this is a bad cycle and it will ultimately force your browser to stop loading the pages. And that's because it's trying to load one page, it's getting to the redirection, so then it moves you to the next page. It loads that up until it gets that redirection and then it moves you back and back and forth, back and forth. It's like driving to and from work 20 times in a day. There's just no point. So to do this, this is super easy. And we can apply the window location variable anywhere, and we can send the user anywhere. So first we have our script, close script. We use the window global variable, and then location. And then like all variables, we use the equal sign, and then we just wrap our value, or the URL that we want to be redirected to, in quotation marks. In this example, this would bring us to google.com. If we wanted to go to another page in our website, we could just go home.php or home.html. These are not together. It'd have to be one or the other. If you match this up with what we already know, you can actually start creating a small amount of functionality with your JavaScript on your website. Now let's look at window open. And this one's a little bit more complex. So if you ever have to refer back to this, that's definitely okay. I know a lot of people actually do refer back to this just because there are so many different variables. This one accepts two different parameters. So window open actually has 4 parameters. All 4 of them are optional. And again, what a parameter is parameter 1, parameter 2, parameter 3, parameter 4. So the first one is URL. Second one is name. Third one is options. And the fourth one is replace. Now to go over this, URL is the page that we want to open. For example, like we used above, google.com, but this would open a new window or a new tab. If there is no parameter specified, about blank will open. Name is like the target attribute in HTML, so we could use blank, self, parent, top, or the frame name if we're using frames. Now options is where it gets a little bit difficult because there are a lot of values, and what an option is exactly how you want the window to be open. Before you go over this list, know that some things will not change in the browser, and that's just because some browsers think they know what's best for you. For example, you can change whether the user can resize the window or not, and some browsers actually remove that. So no matter what the coder provides or what the developer says to do, the window will always be resizable. So first we have width, that's the window width in pixels. Height is the window height in pixels. Left is how far the window will be in pixels. So again, like position absolute, where we use top and left, or in some people's case, right and bottom. This one is only left and top, and left will be how far left it is. Top, same thing, except how far from the top it will be. Both values are in pixels. Scroll bar will enable or disable the scroll bar. Yes and no are accepted values. Default is yes, so when you open a new window, the scroll bar will always be there. With all of these, you can also use 1 and 0 instead of yes and no. I just chose yes and no because right now, yes and no is a little bit easier to understand. Resizable enables or disables window resizing. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Default is yes, so you are allowed to resize, but you can't change that to no. If you change it to no, remember some browsers will just ignore that value and allow the user to resize the window anyways. Location hides or shows the page location. That's that little URL bar at the very top of your page. It says http www.google.com. Default is yes, which means it is shown. And lastly, we have menu bar, which hides or shows the menu bar. Again, yes is default, and if you want to hide it, the value is no. In just a sec, we're going to go over how we can apply more than just one of these values in one parameter instead of multiple parameters. And lastly, we have replace. Replace will replace the current page or create a new page in your history list. This accepts two values, either true or false. True will replace the current page in your history. False will create a new page in your history, and that's default. Instead of having to write an HTML element, which is our anchor one here, so we have A, value is href, we just use a blank one, blank URL, target, underscore blank. So instead of doing that, what we can do is we can write window.open, bracket. Remember, our first one is our URL, so we're going to go with pinterest.com. Next parameter is our name, so that matches with here. And then we have our options. And here's what I was telling you earlier, was that we can have more than one value as an option. What we do is we use quotations all the way around it, so it's still one parameter, and we separate each value with a comma. This doesn't work with every parameter in every function. This is just one of the specific ones where it does work. So what we did was width is equal to 200, height is equal to 400, scroll bar is equal to no. We separated each value with a comma and wrapped the entire thing in quotes, and that's our third parameter. That's the options parameter. And lastly, we have replace, which we set to true, and that will replace the current history page. So in your history, if it says that you're on google.com and this script was executed, then it would open pinterest.com and replace google.com in your history for this current site. You now have the ability to spam people who open your website. Now, if you're going to try to do that, I would like you to know two things. First of all, search engines really frown upon that and will send your site further down the result list. Now, although, for example, Googlebot isn't really able to execute that much JavaScript right now, it is still able to open it and recognize what's going on. And secondly, most browsers have a built-in pop-up blocker. Typically, one or two pop-ups can get through, but usually no more than that. So if you're going to try to spam someone, you might want to go back in time and try to do that 5 or 10 years ago, and that would work perfectly. Now, it doesn't work so much. Plus, that's not really the point of having a website. The point of having a website is to get people on your website and to release your creativity.